Today is video day. I just put up a video, but I didn't like the lighting and I burped. So I'm starting over. I'm doing it again. And, oh no, not the forced update. You don't have to force it. You know I don't want the update, and now you're going to force it, huh? Oh, okay. I wanted to talk about how before this election, I heard the Democrat plan from AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She said that that they were going to take the House of Representatives, even though they didn't. See, I failed to mention that in the video too. They weren't able to because the races were locked out too soon. The states were, I think, were done too soon. So, but their plan was to take the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency. And I'm like, you know, that's a huge expectation. You know, and I know they're going to try to cheat, but that'd be a hell of a cheating, you know, an accomplishment. I'd have to be proud of them if they actually pulled that off for how good they are at cheating. So anyways, the night of the election came around. And I'm thinking, okay, I wonder how bad we're going to get cheated or whatever. Because they do not want the establishment does not want Donald Trump to get in. And apparently the progressives, they really want everything too. So it's like, okay. So Donald Trump, I don't know, it's this and that, wins Florida and like, you know, up in like these different states, and then like Arizona got called. Like it seems like if I think about it, right when the polls closed there, I think they called it. It had to be. So there I go burping again. Bear with me. So and then they put everything on pause. You know, they filled in most of the map. Most of the country was able to get their votes in. And then it seemed like the election got put on pause. Like Joe Biden got up. Like they gave him Arizona. Well, anyways, he was up. Then it went on pause. So the Democrats had lost seats in the House. And it was closed. The voting was over for that, I'm pretty sure. And they were losing in the Senate pretty bad. It looked like they were gonna end up losing a bunch of seats. And it looked like Joe Biden might take the presidency, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, the mail-in voting thing that they legalized, I can't believe it. But I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if Trump loses, at least we'll have the House and the Senate, and they won't be able to just, you know, steamroll. And then, you know, being on pause, I'm sitting there waiting, and I realized after like a day or two, definitely by the third, that it was like, okay, Joe Biden has just been incrementally making up his deficits everywhere, slowly, day by day, until like in Georgia, he was tied to the 0.1% with Trump. And it's like, that's just suspicious. It's like, well, you've hit your milestone, so now you can go a little further for the old Joe. So anyways, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, they're going to get greedy and go for the Senate because it's still open. And sure enough, they did that too. And see, that's why it's not very believable to me. And why, and you know, after you get videos of, you know, poll workers or observers getting kicked out, and you know, nobody being allowed in, and all this, it makes me feel that if like I think even if the House races could have been, if they weren't over so quickly, like if the election would have been over with in like a normal timely manner. It looked like they were going to, and then everything kind of is prolonged by a pause to where votes are counted seemingly only for Joe Biden until he makes it up in every state. It's like if you only wanted Joe Biden for the presidency, you'd say, okay, we'll take like Nevada, or Nevada, because it's the easiest one probably to get away with. And then so that we can have a Joe Biden presidency. But if you were going for the Senate, and majority in the Senate, because the race was still open, you'd have to win all those states like that. And it doesn't look natural at all to me. It looks really contrived. And like, you know, you think about, you know, in today's globalized world and the globalized economies and like Amazon logistics, I'm thinking, if you had to mobilize and move around with like harvested ballots, it might take a few days. You know, and if when there's scrutiny applied, it's like, get out of here. And it's like, okay, this is Banana Republic level election. So That's what I think about that. And when you look at like somebody like AOC, to finish it quickly, because I can't waste too much time here, uh, they're socialists. They say that they're democratic socialists, but that's just a fancy word for communist. When the communists are trying to invade a country and fake an election to get in, and then take everything from everybody, they call it socialism. It's just a nice word they use. Okay, when she says that she's going to fundamentally alter like the Supreme Court with a full sweep of the whole government, and it looks like they're trying to do it, like they lost bad on the House where she's at, but they're trying to follow through on that game plan so that they can stack the Supreme Court and things like that, and fundamentally alter the entire country so that it will only ever benefit them, is what it is. Where they'll be the elites at the top. That's what communism does. Is when it comes around as socialism, it will come around with a prepackaged candidate from an unknown source, really, kind of like a Cortez. Like an audition will be held for who they think is the best actress or actor to play the part for the people, and they'll get into power, and they'll fundamentally alter the government into a communist state, which is really just where they separate the degree of separation between the people and the authority that rules over them is vastly improved. Like production fails, like they still get their food, I'm sure, in their globalized thing, but like, and they said model it after Venezuela, said Bernie, and it's like the Venezuelans were starving, and the protesters were getting run over by military police and all this different stuff. And I don't know what my point is. Oh, but my point is that they're trying to do that here, I think. I mean, I'm not sure what kind of success they would have if they had like full sweep and were able to do things like stack the Supreme Court and change everything. But you have open socialists now in like a Banana Republic level election, saying that they've won the Senate and the presidency after a very suspicious count with evidence of like election fraud, and like all sorts of problems with it, to put themselves in power so that they can fundamentally alter the country. And it's like this is exactly like what happens whenever socialism takes over and ruins a place. And not to mention like the unchecked, like their policies. Like all of these policies here that they've got are something that an enemy would come up with for you, like illegal immigration from jihadi countries to like 60% taxes, like gun grabbing from O'Rourke, afterbirth abortion, 12-year-old transsexuals running your school system from Warren, back into the Iran deal with one of the worst like sponsors of terrorism in the world, back into the Paris Climate Accord where we won't be able to emit anything, and all these really like heavy hitting draconian like what are you doing? You only do this to somebody that you were trying to destroy kind of policies. And I don't know. Like conceivably it could happen. That's the thing. Conceivably Joe Biden and Harris could get in there, and all the crazies, all the commies can really start getting to work, and things could get ugly. And, not just for me, but for everyone. And that's my take on this election.